Welcome, USASBE Nation and USASBE friends, to the game plan, which is USASBE's weekly live stream as we prepare for our USASBE 2022 Pioneer and Persevere conference. And it is a hybrid conference because we know things are a little crazy right now. And we've been planning from the beginning to make sure that we can be as inclusive as possible to those who want to be in person and can be in person. We know that some restrictions will probably be happening at some point. And those who want to participate and have access to all of the great materials that are collected and preserved as a part of the conference. I've got like a motorcycle gang that is apparently driving past my window right now, so I apologize. So we've got a guest with us today who's going to help me. Leann, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Leann Mischel. I'm a professor at Coastal Carolina University, and I'm here to talk about the Flipped Courses conference track.
Absolutely. So we've got some great, we're going to dive into Leann's impact on USASBE and some of the things that we're working on. But I have a big announcement first. And that big announcement is that we have already extended, because we know things are changing as we're getting back into schools and getting back to campus. There's a lot of conversations about how this Delta variant is changing plans, right? And we were going to be all back in person, and now there's conversations about what happens if, right? What masks mandates are going to happen or not. And every situation seems to be a little different. So we recognize that those conversations on campuses are taking up time for faculty and staff and administrators. And we had put a pretty aggressive date in for the deadlines for our awards and our conference submissions. We had originally said August 31st for those dates, but we heard our members and our constituents. We are pushing that date to September 10th. And we're letting people know now rather than at the last minute, because you're trying to balance your conference nomination submissions, and you're trying to balance your research submissions with everything else happening. So we wanted to let you know now so that you can you don't need the stress, right? You've got enough stress. Let's just go ahead and give you some extra days so that you can plan. That is, I suppose, our Friday gift to you, but man, you guys have a lot going on. So I hope you feel it. You feel that it's a lifting of stress, and we absolutely hope to get your submissions for our tracks for the conference, our research, teaching, and programming tracks, as well as our Model Program Awards or Excellence in Entrepreneurship Education Awards. Those two will be due on September 10th, and our Lifetime Achievement Awards those nominations will be due on September 10th. So you've got some extra time. If you have questions, please do reach out to USASBE headquarters, and we'd be happy to help with that. We've had some folks send a note already. If you can see Brittany, she's like laughing and smiling. We've had some people say, hey, I'm having trouble uploading this document. It is probably user error, but we're also totally fine helping you through that user error, because we get it. It's easy once you know it, but it's challenging if you haven't done it before. Okay, next, Leann. So let's talk about the Flipped Classroom Exercises Studio track. So you are the track chair for that. Tell us a little bit about you, and then how, you can go ahead and start to talk about how this is even a track now, because there's an important thing that happened last year.
Yes, so I am happy to report that I was the winner of the idea pitch, the research idea pitch competition that you had last year. And I took first place, and what I pitched was something about microlearning. And where this came from was I was looking at my venture creation. I teach entrepreneurship, and I was looking at my venture creation class, and I was really noticing that my students are starting to not like the textbooks. You know, they really, and I shouldn't say starting, they've never really liked the textbooks, right? Because it's a lot of information to digest, and they're constantly complaining that it's more information that they'll ever need. They're memorizing all of this stuff, and then they forget it as soon as the exam is over. And then I'm looking at my own children who are constantly kind of digesting news and information through TikTok and Snapchat and all of these other, social media. And I'm noticing that everything that they get is in small pieces and they remember what they're reading. So my son will come to me and he'll say, "Mom, did you see this in the news?" And I'll be like, "Well, yeah, I did see that. I'm kind of surprised that you didn't. Oh, we have a guest here. Sorry about that." And so I started thinking about the idea that this really is the way that this generation is learning, and maybe people learn in general. This is really a great way, is in small pieces and just reinforce those small pieces. So I proposed that in my research idea pitch video, and it took first place. So I was really happy about that and really excited about that. And that has kind of moved into what we're doing for USASBE. Sorry about that. And the joys of doing Zoom from home. So what we're doing now is we've created this new track, which I'm really excited about. And what this new track will do is it provides everyone an ability to contribute to a library of small bite videos and that micro learning, so that other USASBE members can draw from it in the future. So for this track, what people will submit is a description of, not the actual video, but they're going to put together, when they actually do the presentation, it's going to be a short video, and that short video can be anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes. I would say 10 minutes at the very, very most, but usually around the 5-minute mark is a good cutoff. Kind of talking about a concept that students have difficulty with or need to grasp, go into depth about that concept, and then you can provide an exercise or something to do in class to follow that up. So what you'll be submitting is obviously a description of the video. You're not going to submit the actual video, and along with a description of the exercise that's going to be included. And again, that will be contributed to a library that USASBE members can draw from in the future. So if you need something on motivation, you can go to the library and you can say, "Oh, well, I'm going to look at this with my students," and find the resources right there, which is going to be really great.
Absolutely. And Leann, thank you very much for explaining. It does. It's the intent of this is for, it's almost like teachers helping teachers in a way, right? It's contributing to this larger body of knowledge, because sometimes we're asked to teach a class that we don't really know a lot about, and having some of these micro pieces of content, as we catalog them, you'll be able to go out and grab these things and grab the exercises as you build your course. So this is something that we hear from members all the time, is that they're looking for exercises, and we do have a library of exercises, but now we're kind of layering over this concept of micro content with video that is a jumping off point that you can put into your Canvas or whatever, Blackboard, whatever your learning system is, and then be able to do the exercises either in person or remotely, however you need. So I think it's great. So we hear about it. Leann, how would you, if you were to give advice to somebody who wanted to submit to this track, what advice would you give them?
So I've been using microlearning now in my venture creation class for the last year now. And overwhelmingly, and I ask the students at the end of the semester, what do you think about this as opposed to using a textbook? And overwhelmingly, they're saying, I'm getting so much more out of these videos than I do with the textbook, because I just forget it as soon as I read it. And then of course we have the exercises in class to reinforce. So I would say, number one, keep it brief and very to the point. Make sure that your videos are very targeted towards a topic, and that you cover that topic briefly. And I'm telling you that some of my videos, the videos that I use in this class are anywhere from literally 45 seconds to about 5 minutes at the longest, and those seem to work the best. What I've also done what I also do with this class is I also, to ensure that my students are actually watching them, I incorporate a quiz question through Edpuzzle. And that way I can get feedback that they've actually watched them and actually learned and taken in what the video said. So again, I would say make sure they're very short, targeted, make sure students know that this is the topic that they're going to be covering for the day. And you know, just make sure they're very to the point. The students just really don't want to be listening for 20 minutes about different things. They just want the information and then they want to move on to the next thing.
I love it. I think that's fantastic. And I'll just kind of also give a shout out to one of our other tracks, because you're right, they're learning things and you want them to retain it and to incorporate it into their own practices. We have another track that is new this year that is being chaired by Agnieszka and Gustav. And I think they're going to be coming on at some point in the future, but that one is about reflection exercises. So you can have these small pieces of content with exercises that in this particular track, but then if you want to really think about more broadly, what are some ways to incorporate reflection? Those are things that we have another track for as well. So this is great. I really appreciate your time. Are there any questions, Brittany or Wendy, or hello, Shane? It's good to see you too.
Hi, Shane.
Hey there.
I do not have any questions at this time. It sounds like a really useful workshop, though. Interesting.
I think it'll be interesting. I mean, our goal is to have, over the course of 3 years, we want to refresh all of our exercises, because we do have quite a few that are available to our members, but we want to refresh those. This is a good way to have a peer-reviewed, refreshing activity over the next couple of years with those things, and also incorporate a lot of the online things that we've learned over the year, over this past year and a half too. So it requires a lot of effort, and it's a great way to make sure that these are peer-reviewed, and that there's a level of expectation as far as the quality that our members will be able to access going forward. So I'm pretty excited. And Leann and I have chatted about in the future, it would be really great to have kind of a matrix of topics and modalities. And this is, but before we get too big of a picture, too big of a grandiose concept of that, we want to see how this goes, and we'll take this year to pilot it. So that's why we're highlighting it today.
And I have to say, I'm really, really excited about the possibility of building this library and seeing it, you know, just kind of come to fruition, because I think it's going to be something that's going to be very, very helpful to instructors kind of across the board. And the nice thing about having these videos and the reinforcing exercises is that you can use them in a flipped classroom, you can use them in an online classroom, you can use them in a live classroom, really just to reinforce the concepts that you're teaching. So they're very, very useful across the board. And you know, even having the videos, if you want to use them in class, it's almost like having a guest speaker there in your class, right? For that 5 minutes, talking from an expert's point of view, which sometimes helps as well. So I'm really, really excited about the possibility of putting this together, and I hope people are just as excited, and I hope we get lots of additions. And even if you don't submit to the conference track, we hope that you'll contribute to the library in the future.
Yeah, I would also say you mentioned you know, lots of different like audiences. This is also really good for incubators and accelerators who, you know, they don't have a whole class that they want to do. They need some micro content and maybe an as needed, like, hey, we need to talk about guerrilla marketing and we need some pieces to cover because we've got a cohort that needs that today, and we didn't plan for it 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. So it's also a good way to be able to tag into that and say, okay, let's have some focused conversations around a specific thing. So yeah, I love it.
Exciting.
Okay, well, I hope, seeing no other, well, let me ask again, are there questions? Because if not, we can go ahead and let everybody go enjoy their Friday. I'm sure everyone has pool time planned. No, nobody has pool time planned this Friday. Sorry about that.
I have pool time planned.
Oh, fantastic.
I've been seeing all my neighbors go to the pool now for like all week long, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get away at like 1:30 and just go for like 30 or 40 minutes.
Do it. I think that's fantastic. I absolutely love it. All right. Well, everybody, we will see you next week, same time, same channel, and we'll be talking about other fun stuff with regards to our tracks and our awards next week. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good
Thank you.
weekend.